good. It's the first time that we're doing this. We're so excited to be in the background of this podcast that it's weird to be in front of it.
It's been interesting for me because this is something that I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time, but never felt like I had the bandwidth to do, because we're it's just the amount of research it takes to put together the training manuals it's a lot. And now we just finished another draft of the executive book, finished another draft of the 2.0, which has been 3 years in the making. Yeah, it's been good. And now I can do these. So here we are.
Yeah.
So let's get started for real. Should we get started for real? Do our thing?
Yes, we're live already.
We're live. All right. So hi, I'm John, founder of Training EDU. And today we're here with Ale. Raj is out for this week, but she will be back, I think, next week. And I was out last week. So we had Raj and Ashley. So here we are to the Coaching and Flourish podcast. Welcome. And I am making some tea. Ale, let me introduce you. Ale is a member of our leadership program, leadership team. We are in the creation of a leadership program. And also one of our lead trainers, and is helping us put together a Spanish program, helping with all of the numbers, the brand, lead on the branding, with working with Mari, our illustrator, Spanish. I mean, I feel like Ale, you are a key player in the success of the past 6 months. It's lovely to have you on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for that huge presentation.
Nice. Let's get started. So,
yeah.
And she's also in Mexico City with your little one and another one on the way. So life is very, very full.
Thank you. Yeah, we have some questions that our coaches on our social media audience ask. So I don't know if you want to start.
Jump in.
Yep. Okay. First of all, I just want to mention that if you have any questions, coaches out there seeing us, you can always write us to DM in social media, or even at support@coachtrainingedu.com to let us answer those questions. We really want to use this space to give answers and to be able to communicate with you and answer all doubts you can have around coaching. So the first question that we have for today is, what should someone look for when selecting a coach?
It's funny because I just had to select a new coach myself. I had been working with someone for a while, and then he got hired. But he had a coaching practice on the side, and then he got hired as a full-time person at an organization, and he really wanted to focus on that. So it was time to close. So I've gone through 2 hiring processes and my own coach. And what I know to do is, and I am the oddest client ever in terms of me being coached, because I'm an MCC, I run a coach training program. I must be super intimidating. I know I'm super intimidating as a client, but I know I'm a very good client if I find the right coach. So I go out and I have a couple, I ask a couple different coaching organizations, not my own, because I feel like that's a little odd for me to hire someone I've trained. So I go, I go to a couple different coaching boards and put it out there and do my Google searches and things like that. I am looking for someone who is ICF accredited, or ICF, who has their ICF accreditation, at least a PCC. I want someone who I know is, does this, they're professional at it, they've trained, they have the certification, that's there. The second thing I'm looking for is I will go out and have 3 to 5 people I'll contact and do sample sessions with them. And that to me is more important than almost anything else. How I show up with them, how they show up with me. I feel like that's the key to my own process. And I'm very upfront with the coaches I speak with. I tell them, this is who I am. This is how I show up as a client. And I like my coaches to basically just ask a question and get out of the way. And I also let them know my pet peeves around coaching as well. So so it's an interesting conversation. But I think the key to it is finding someone who's certified, and then also like at least trying out 3 to 5 coaches. How about you, Ale? How do you find a coach?
I actually, my first coach was like love at the first sight. So I'm not 100% sure what I looked about her. But I agree with you. When I am in my first session, when I try to do this fit coach client session with my potential clients, I always ask them to search more, like to try, because normally they come to me as referral, for example. So I always ask them to do the research and to look for someone that is accredited, or at least has all the tools and preparation to help you, or the experience to help you. And also, I think it's really important, this fit talk. I don't know if you definitely have that when you are choosing a coach. I can imagine it could be tough for me being a coach to you as a client. But I always think that you need to get this vibe also, and to have a conversation of what you're looking for in a coach. Maybe make a list of what you're looking for in a coach, or what you're looking to work with a coach, and to see, because there are so many different coaching styles, and that's the beauty of coaching too, that you can find someone that actually fits with what you're looking for and what help you need, and also what your expectations are, right? And be able to have a clear idea of what my coaching expectations are and what my coach's expectations is. So I do have expectations for my own clients, and I actually really like to put over the table all the expectations for both parties, right? So I really think it's, besides everything that you already said, or plus everything you ever said, I think this conversation is so important to just know where we are in a coaching relationship.
Totally. I have a follow-up too, like thinking about like what I'm really looking for in that first thing. There are 2 things. One is someone who is confident enough in the coaching process to trust the coaching process. Like if I feel at any point in time my coach is trying to fix something, or trying to or has an idea of which way I should go, or like if I feel any kind of assumption that they're making or problem fixing, that's it. I'm done. Like I'm out. Like that's a very clear, okay. Like you don't, like I need someone who's confident enough to trust the process. And the second thing is I don't want someone who makes an assumption that like I can't, like the goals I'm after are too big. They need to be brought down. Like they, like when a coach says to me like, hey, like, let's be more realistic here. I'm out. I'm done. I'm like, no, I didn't grow this being realistic. Like,
yeah,
it's a part of it for sure, but I'm out. I mean, if it's like the kind of thing where if I say I want to work out 7 days a week and they're like, well, that's not realistic, let's aim for 5, I'm out. So it's really interesting to know as a client, like, what are your outs? Like, where are the things that when you're working with as a coach, that are your no-go zones? I feel like this is really helpful information to tell the coach ahead of time and to be completely transparent. Otherwise you feel like I don't want to trick people, or like, you know what I mean? I don't want to trick my coaches, or like, I'm not going to tell them that if I feel this way, then I'm out. So I feel like that's useful to know as well.
That's great. I'm not sure if we are able to see if someone is asking questions in the
Ashley will let
chat.
us know. Yeah.
Okay, good.
In chat.
I have a next question, which is, And this is going to be very interesting because they're asking us, what are powerful questions?
I'm laughing because in the in the 2.0, the revised 2.0 that Britt and I have been working on, and it's been a labor of love. And one of the chapters is on humor, and this is, I think, chapter 20 or around 19 or 20 in the 2.0. And we have 4 different ideas around using humor in coaching sessions, which I think is a really powerful tool. And the 4th one is the meta question, or the existential question, and then the only response is, what is question? And we were talking about whether or not we keep it in or out of the 2.0. And I think we're going to keep it in the 2.0 because I think it's somewhat funny to look at the meta questions and these existential questions. I was like, so what is question? You know, like when you just allow yourself to get into that space of like unknowingness, and like, looking at all of the, just questioning even the ideas that you have around question, the kind of things. So for me, that's bringing up a lot and something that I've just looked into. And I think it's somewhat fun, and that's part of it. And I do think there is some element of coaching that can be fun. It can be humorous. It can be like, let's just look at this with original beginner's mind, right? So when I look at powerful question with the original beginner's mind, at the essence of it is a question that reframes your client's thinking, and then then you get out of the way. And the mechanics of it are, if they are short, open-ended, and specific. And by specific, I mean, I think the best powerful questions, or the most useful powerful questions, are those that the coach takes some kind of risk in making an interesting assumption that is built into the question that helps, but at the same time empowers a client. For instance, is it okay if I ask you a powerful question, just because as a coach to a client, to show some examples?
You want to ask me?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to ask me a powerful question?
Yeah. I want to ask you a powerful question. In looking at the growth of CTEDU in the past 6 months or past year, what's been the most surprising element that you found it brings up in yourself? All right, cool. Don't answer it. Where does that question take you, though? And it might not be my best example of a powerful question, but it is in there. Where does that question take you?
First of all, I think it puts me in exploration of emotion. So I want to know how I feel about this growth and what has meant for me. So I wanted to just talk about this, also about the powerful questions. It's not necessarily what do you ask, but how does impact in your client when saying that, and the place you take your client in themselves to explore that. So I can answer that if you want, but it shifts my energy and it brings emotions out. So for me, it was a good question.
Look, the sun came out. I haven't seen the sun in like 2 weeks. It's like the Pacific Northwest is getting tons of water, which we need, but my goodness, we can't look. Beautiful. I'm just going to keep it open. It's probably going to go away in 2 minutes, and I don't want to miss it. So we all need the vitamin D. Oh, you asked me one. I want one.
Oh, don't put me in the spot.
I want
one. Okay, can I ask you like a very personal, powerful question?
Yes.
Okay. What did you learn about yourself in this experience of taking time to take care of about yourself.
It's generous. You know, I feel like powerful questions are generous. They are gifts, you know, and it really comes from the word, you know, generous and gift have the same Latin root. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I feel like their powerful questions can be easy. Like I feel like they're not this mysterious, like big thing, but they're just, yeah. What I love about coaching conversations, especially, is I feel like there's this, in our society, we don't have a great system for listening. There's no I don't know. It's yeah, you can go to a coffee shop and have a chat with a friend. But our culture isn't based around listening as much as it's based around talking, or, you know, you don't go to, like, there's no class in high school or college that says how to listen, right? But there is speech class, there is debate class, there is, you know, all these things, but we don't have listening class. And essentially coaching is listening class. And it's so nice to have someone ask you any question and then know that they're devoting 100% of their attention to you. Like, you don't have to fight for the mic. You don't have to fight for the attention. You can take all the time you want. And I feel like that's a huge part of a powerful question. It's just the context in which the question is asked is also a part of the question itself.
Totally. I totally agree with you with that. And sometimes I also think that when we start the coaching journey as a coaching training, it's okay to think about that powerful question needs to be this super fancy, well-structured question. But also part of trusting yourself in the process is to let that go and just trust your client and be present in the space. As you said, when you listen in curiosity too, it's gonna come up. So I think it's important this is something that I tell my coaches in training in class, that it's not fluffy that we say trust yourself and trust the process, because it's all you need, right?
Right. I think if I were to start out from zero and to become coach trained, or if I were to say, I have someone here and I need to get them coach trained, like, as soon as possible, like, this is an ASAP type thing. One thing I would start with or do would be to memorize maybe 10 default questions. Like, what are you learning about yourself? What's useful about this? What's not useful? What would be, like, what's the benefit of a negative? What does it, to be able to have, I think, how are you feeling about something, or how does that make you feel is a strong question. But I feel like the more powerful question is, when coaches take some sort of risk and say, where's the joy in this, or where's the sadness in this, or what was the surprising thing, or what was the thing that jumped out at you the most, or what would you like to leave behind, what would you like to embrace more? Like, all those kind of, like, gentle nudging in one direction or another. I feel like you just memorize it. You just get a list of maybe 10 to 12 of those kind of things. And I feel like what that does is it helps keep your questions fresh. Like, so when you are listening with someone and you have a curiosity, you have a quick container to put your curiousness into. So you go, okay, cool. Like, let's go here. This is the container that I know would work. That's what I would do if I were starting out.
I think that's super helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But you just said it's going to be super helpful if we have a lot of coaching training that is there looking at us. So thank you for sharing that with us.
We do pretty well, I think, in the training. I feel like we give people quick, even in chapter 1 and 2, there's a list of questions to go through. So I would print that out and just keep it there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go next one. What's the
the last question is, and this is something that Raj and Ashley started talking about this last week. And I think it's a really interesting question too, because I struggled with this. So how should I price my coaching package?
Mhm. Yeah, I've talked about this a lot in different times. I think, what I did, I started out charging because I was working mostly with high school students. Well, before I was working with some adults and then high school students. I just charged something that I felt like made it worth it for me to keep doing it, but also made it so that price wasn't the main issue when getting started. So I think I just started charging like 50 an hour, and then I think it was 100 an hour, and I just put it into 10. I gave two different options, like a 10 session option and then a 15 session option. And my very first client chose the larger of my two offerings. And I remember feeling like elation, like just it's working. Like, and this is after a workshop that I gave, which was probably one of the most, if I could go back and relive like, different episodes of life, that would be probably one of the hardest episodes to live. And it just was a really bad workshop. Like it just, I will tell the story of it one day. And I still got a client to sign up afterwards, and there was a larger package, and I felt like it just felt this elation. And it was it just made me feel like, yeah, I'm on the right track. And so I just kept it at 100 an hour. And when a client came to me and said, I really want to work with you, but I can't afford this, then the question is, well, what can you afford? And then we got, and then it was a conversation. It was like, okay, like I can do this, or, and what I realized very quickly is I didn't want to, I knew I needed to make money. I needed to be sustainable, but I didn't want cost to be a barrier. And I really wasn't a big fan of sliding scales. Like I'm not a fan of people saying I do sliding scales this way. I am a fan, however, of saying this is how much I charge, and I also give scholarship amounts, or if it's a challenge, come talk to me. And a lot of the most fulfilling work I did was with different nonprofits, where I would work and be able to donate my time in certain ways. And then the nonprofit we'd have some sort of reciprocal relationship where I would get some money so I could count them as hours for my certification, but it wasn't, my main thing was I just needed to get coaching hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if I were starting out, I would start out as low as I possibly could. That would make it worth it for me. And then once I got clients, then start upping the price. And that's what I did. And eventually my prices were around $210 an hour, which I realize is a lot for academic coaching, but I also was doing a lot of volunteer work. And then I also was doing some executive stuff, which I charge even more. Like we're talking $500 to $400 an hour. So you can make money as a coach doing this. It doesn't happen very quickly, but yeah, that's what I would say about it.
Yeah, I do agree that it's not necessarily a long journey, but it's a perseverant journey. So it's not something that you're gonna just graduate, get your certificate, and magic is going to happen for you to be super successful. You can always try, right? But I also think that I started from less to what I charge today because of my experience, and also because I personally, I don't know if this may happen with other coaches in training, but I struggled a lot to define how much I am worth to earn as a coach. Like it was not necessarily about me feeling that I need to charge because I need to be worth it because of my experience as a coach. So I struggle a lot with that. And I agree with you that checking on voluntary or like own NGOs and voluntary, how you say charity? I don't know if it's charity, but organizations that maybe need help, and start there charging a really not necessarily a significant amount, but to help people. That's also part of why we are coaching, right? Why we're doing this, and what's the cost of each coach to actually be here in this coaching world. I do agree with you that it's a great way to get hours. So if you are out there looking for ICF hours or coaching hours, I would definitely encourage them to try to find charities or organizations that may need help, and you can just negotiate with them or have a contract with them. That would be awesome. Also to spread coaching, right? Because definitely you can make a career and you can make money with this. But I definitely agree that my main cause in my case is to expand coaching and to impact as many people as possible. So yeah.
I think a fundamental shift in the how much to charge question. The tricky part to me is it directly impacts your own bank account and your own ideas of security and safety, where you're thinking, okay, like, am I safe? Can I focus on the work that I need to focus on? Or am I too concerned about the financial thing that it's just drawing my attention away and it's just hard to focus? I was there. I mean, Moise and I, we lived month to month for 2 years, like just coaching or bust kind of. And we had a 2-year-old, and it was wild. I mean, we had like, we had we had patio furniture as our dining room table for a year, kind of stuff. And we just lived on, we were young, idealistic, we were in love, and we just made it. Like, just month to month, I hustled. And there's an element of being hungry enough that you have to do the uncomfortable things, like giving workshops or presentations or making the phone calls and doing the networking, that I think is really valuable. And I do feel like networking is the key. Like, anywhere you can, like these organizations, you donate time to it, you donate coaching, you do what you can with the amount of time that you have. And the key, I think, to pricing, the key to looking at, okay, so this is what I need to do for my pricing, is asking yourself, if I'm trying to create this kind of change in the world, if this is the mission that I'm after, what is the dollar amount that I need to be financially sustainable? When you're looking at it from that perspective, you're making money, not for your sake, but you're making money so you can be sustainable to create the change that you want to make. That is the perspective shift. And once you get there, it becomes clear, who you need to work with, how you need to work with them, and how much to charge, because you're doing it for the mission, the sake of the mission. You'll notice your own stress level goes down, your excitement level goes up. You start taking risks and taking action steps that you wouldn't normally take. That's when you know you're on the right path.
And you are able to enjoy it, right? You're able to enjoy that you are impacting on other people. Mm-hmm. That's great. Do we have time for one question?
Let's do it. Yeah. I know we have a leadership meeting right after this, but
I know, but
Ashley can let them know. We're in it. We're in it to win it.
I have a question from Kayla, which asks, who do you make sure giving a nudge in a direction isn't trying to solve their problem?
That's a great question. Truly, truly. Okay, I'll do it for myself, and then I as a coach actively try to make the problem worse. Like, I try to unsolve the problem. I try to actually increase the negative emotion that they feel about the problem and about what's happening, by holding a safe container for exploration for it. Now, this is kind of, I know this, I want to be extremely clear around, I'm not trying to create trauma, or I'm not trying to I'm not trying to increase to the point of, making them feel bad without purpose or getting into it. I just find that what happens when someone shows up to a coaching session, oftentimes, just the fact that they're sharing and talking about this with someone else often helps them feel better just because, like, they just feel better. Just sharing feels good, especially when someone's listening empathetically. So I know when they're doing that, they're probably in the session not feeling the acuteness of the challenge in the session that I'm in. So I want to bring that acuteness back to real time. So when I do that, what happens is there's my internal letting, I let go internally of whatever solution, whatever thing I think needs to happen. There's an internal letting go of it, because I see where they're at in the present moment as if it's art. And I don't want to change the art. I just want to increase awareness of the art. And from that perspective, I might nudge them towards what is the most challenging thing that you've had? Like, what is the most challenging thing this week that you've had to deal with? What happens if that challenge becomes bigger? Like, you can go there as a coach, and you can go there knowing that you can hold that container, because if you trust the process and trust your client, going there gives them the message that I believe that you have all of the tools, you have all the internal, external tools that you possibly could ever need to do this. I'm holding this container for you. If you get there internally as a coach, clients will feel that. And that's what I'm looking for. Like, if my coach lets me go there holding a container that I can handle this, then I know that's the coach for me. And that's what that's what I do in my coaching. So then when I do have a nudge, like, hey, I think this could solve it, I can be 100% direct and say, hey, this is the idea that I have to solve this, but I'm now saying it out loud, and I'm going to completely release it. And now it's 100% in your court. And I'm just going to be the neutral assumption maker once again. I hope this makes sense, and I'm putting it into the context that I'm not trying to create, I'm not creating trauma. I'm exploring the pain points with curiosity.
Exactly. In a safe space, right? Because you
Safe
know
space.
that this is, as you said, this is a container where you know and you trust, even you trust your client, that they trust you, that
Yes.
this is safe. So if we are looking at it from a safe perspective, it gives you the ability to play, not necessarily with the best case scenario, but maybe what's the hardest part of it. Right? And that gives awareness also probably of how capable my client is to see the worst, but to see also the solution of the worst case scenario.
There's so much empowerment that happens when you are allowed to go into the pain without someone trying to immediately fix it, but to be there with you and just to be present with you to it.
Yeah.
It's sacred. It's sacred. It's holy work. I mean, it's work that is really, there are a few other places in a client's life like me that they have this outlet and they have this thing. And this, I mean, I'll get fired up. I mean, now we gotta end now.
Yeah.
It's in concert with all the other, it's in concert with all the other helping professions as well. So it's in concert, it's not that coaching can, if there is truly trauma, if there are things that are big, like really, really big, then yes, work in concert with a therapist, work in concert with other helping professions that are in this space as well. Coaching is not meant to carry all this water, but it can carry a lot of it, and it can carry it in a very specific space. So I view this work as it's intimate. It's intimate work. It's sacred work.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Kayla, for your question. That was a great question.
Oh, this is fun. How are you doing with this?
I had fun. It was better than I expected. I was nervous at the beginning.
Good. Yeah. It's why not, right? I was too. And when I first started these, I realized, you know what? They're fun. I I think, just to wrap this up, because I know we got to run, and I feel like all of the rest of the afternoon is getting bumped back. But for me, I feel like what the key to all of this in the idea of, and positive psychology backs this up too, is if what you're after, if the meaning in your life is clarified, so many other things fall into place. Even coaching sessions, for me, the meaning that I keep coming back to is this idea of wanting to change the way that young people are educated, and the education process that they go through. And when that's clarified, I feel like so many other things start to become abundantly clear, and which direction you need to move in. The one thing that helped me as a beginning coach was clarifying that meaning, and then creating a vision recording to remind myself of it on a daily, almost hourly basis. I would listen to my early vision recordings 3 to 5 times a day, and that was key for me in working through those years of living on love and hope. Thanks, Ali. This is fun. We're gonna have more guests in here too, and it all won't be me either. So it could be you and Raj. It's just but this time is great. So thank you, Ali, for jumping in, filling in.
Thank you.
Thank you, people, for your questions, listening on those out there, listening in the different channels, and we'll be back next week. This has been another Coaching to Flourish Q&A podcast.